Welcome to Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by coaches, clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland, the Barbell Club Online, yeah,
and more.
and more. If you need any information, all the links are below, and there's going to be a link to Matty's Instagram as well to follow him. So today's show, we have Coach Matty from Durham.
Hello, I am here. So, first one. Where have you been since the podcast?
Yeah, Matty's going to ask me some questions.
Start with that.
So the last one we did, I would say proper one we did was the Wendy McCready one back in August or July-ish from there, and then me and Sarah did a quick one at the end of our shred. God, so what's that say? August, September, October, November, December, January. We're coming into February now. 5 and a bit month, maybe. Busy. Busy but good. I think probably the busyness wise is like we launched the online program, so we took a lot of time and effort to build into that. But and then Consett.
Yes, Consett, exactly. And then that's only recent, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it was Consett, the online, and then me and Sarah did the shred, and then still building out clients all the way throughout the year. Ended on our busiest December ever, which is mental because of the way December runs. We didn't even advertise for clients through that period, and yet we had like record-breaking months.
Yeah.
And then Christmas, and then obviously January, always big months in gyms.
Yep.
A huge month for us across all of them. I mean, Concert's still full. Still looking for a coach for that. If any good coaches out there.
Just use it as an ad.
Use it as an ad as well. Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's been a busy period. I think for the whole gym. I think over December, like you say, it was busy. And it's just good vibes going around at the moment. It's just in a really good spot. I think everything's tying together nicely. But yeah, so obviously with this year, what is the big thing for yourself?
I didn't realise it was going to be the other way.
I'll go next.
No. Say that again, sorry.
So this year, like, what is the big thing that you're looking to achieve, or is it? You don't have to reveal the master plan, but is there anything in place that you're looking at next steps? Obviously, Concert's one of them things. So
this is what me and Sarah love about Matty. He asks us questions, and that's what I love. Big things for this year. Fucking hell. So we've got our black tie event. That's the next event coming up. So that's our RT Fitness Durham's 10th gym anniversary. So 10 years on that. 10 years on that, which is a kind of big milestone. It came to me head a few months ago, and it was like, let's fucking just celebrate.
Yes.
Let's celebrate with the clients, trying to get loads of old clients back there. So that's February 17th. God, after that, I think it's just events this year.
Yeah, events.
I think our main focus actually is just client focused, client experience focused, because we're not just a gym or an online program. Like even within the online realm, we're trying to build a community in that. So yeah, I think it's just event orientated this year. Like you've probably already seen the events coming up from there. So it's like black tie, then we've got the Carnage games, and then we've got the first photo shoot of the year for the shred for the barbells, which is going to be done in our Sunderland unit.
Yep.
And then the week after, we've got a villa in Marbella set out for 12 of the people on the shred, which is good. It's
going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing, isn't it?
I know. I wish you were there. I wish we could take all of you. But more obviously, if that works out as good as we're planning it to be, then hopefully more in the future for that. Obviously, that's leveling up, not just the experience, but I think that shred level as well. Even though the shreds are mint and everyone's buzzing at the end, but imagine getting in great shape, not just to do a photo shoot in a cold warehouse.
Yes, exactly. It changes the environment, doesn't it? And it's something different, it's something new, it's something exciting, and I think it'll be great. I think if we could make it like a yearly thing, an annual thing, it'd be great.
But we are going away for my birthday.
Right,
100%, that one. It's my 40th this year as well.
40th? Big
40th.
40 years of Ross Thompson, one line. What would you say? What have you learned in them 40 years? Come on, let's get insightful.
Oh, fucking hell. 40 years.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
It's going to be a line, like it's a notable line, and hard work does pay off.
Hard work pays off.
Like, I know I'm not the most knowledgeable guy in the world. I know I'm not the biggest. I know I'm not the leanest. I'm probably not the best coach in the world. Probably. But I think hard work fucking pays off. I mean, like I said, it's 10 years for this gym, but we've been doing it for longer, for a couple of more years longer than that. No matter what, it goes, like there's always ups, there's fucking big downs, there's huge ups, obviously, like we're on a really big up at the minute. But no matter what, like from a personal standpoint, it's just fucking getting up and just grinding every single day, no matter what.
So it's not really as sexy as it seems in the moment. It's very much like doing it, and then seeing the things happen, such as the black tie event, being like, oh, we're here.
Yeah. It's fucking...
Which is good.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what it is? I think because obviously I am surrounded by personal trainers, coaches, and all the rest of it, and I hear the whinging within the industry of people not getting clients or not achieving this or getting this, and I think are you getting up this? Like, I'm not trying to show off about what times I get up or anything like that, but I am like literally from 5 a.m. I'll get up, fucking have me coffee, write me goals down for the day, and then I'm just cracking on.
Yes. Straight
away, and then I might be still cracking on. Like last night, what time was my last call last night? Like 20 to 8 last night. Do you know what I mean? And I'd been up since 5 that morning. And I'm not saying I'm a workaholic or anything like that. I've got downtime. I fucking spend time with the kids. But for every single spare minute, I'll put everything into it. And I know I will. Yeah,
I think that makes us want to think of a quote. I'm about to butcher it, but essentially it's like, like results always show who's worked hard, essentially. And because if you do something for long enough, whether it's, I don't know, keeping it to the niche of fitness, anyone watching who's wanting to lose weight, wanting to get in better shape, it's over time. Like, people want things now, which is great for marketing. It's great to say, look, we'll get you this in X time, but you've got to view things like, let's see where I am in like 3 to 5 years of like, if I keep doing the same thing every day for the next 3 to 5 years, is it unreasonable that I'll achieve X result? 6 months might be unreasonable. 3 to 5 years, like giving yourself more time to do things, in my opinion, is a better way of doing it because there's more longevity in it.
We want the now.
Of course we want the now, but I feel like the now will be your norm if you do things on a daily basis, saying 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a quote, of course I do, but big lover of Chris Williamson. Shout out, he won't be watching this, will he? Never know.
Of course he will. I've been getting more into him lately, actually.
He's amazing, yeah. But
probably because of the James Smith thing.
Exactly. We'll use that example. So Matthew McConaughey, he says like, my hero. So my hero is me in 10 years. And then 10 years time, he's not his hero still. But it's another 10 years. So you're always chasing that next thing. And I think that's healthy to have. I think chasing that thing is always good. And doing the work, so it's always good. Rather than saying, oh, I haven't achieved what I've achieved. Or I need to achieve this next year. Think longer scale, because you're going to do actions that are going to be better. Just like Hormozi talks about with business as well. So if there's a millionaire on a 90-day, Slumdog Millionaire, need to be $1 million business in India or something in 90 days. They won't create the same business model as they would if it was a 10-year thing.
Yeah.
So you go on a fast diet thing for 90 days and then coming out of it to put it back on is not as good as someone who is going to be in a gym setting, get coached, get the right things, get the foundations, understand nutrition over time, over a 3 to 5 year period, or even let's say 1 to 2 year period. That person's going to be better off, in my opinion, than someone who's seeking that kind of fast change. So that's why it's good that we have the shred where we give them that cut, but then we rebound them out of it and we treat them right afterwards. Whereas most coaches out there are going to say, fat loss thing, this sale, and then they just leave them after. They're just like, deal with it yourself. It's not healthy.
No, it isn't.
It's just the treatment that they're getting after as well, and understanding, like, obviously all the education they get after, and understanding how to eat food after a big cut, like not just eating everything, maybe the first few days, and then how the habits stay in place and all the rest of it.
So how do they keep those habits?
We're
just going to flow straight in. I'll tell you why I'm asking, probably is that. is because we've had clients, like you've probably seen yourself, like we have clients who do go back. Do you know what I mean? Of course they do. And I'll always say, like, within these, like we'll use the shred for an example as well. In these 12 weeks, you're going to learn some fucking brilliant habits, and you're going to take most of these habits and still continue them after. Yeah. Even if you're not dieting down, you've got to continue them afterwards, because these are the foods what getting you leaner, right? And if you go back to the foods what got you fat in the first place, well, guess what? You're going to get fat.
Yeah.
But they always go back to that.
Yeah.
And reasoning obviously being, I'll use this example, you've got 20 years worth of that habit, and only 12 weeks worth of this.
Yep. And I think that's why it's good to understand. So I'm going to relate it back to straight away, like thinking long term. So if someone
use the 10 years, Durham. Let's do it.
I think that's something I'm really thinking about consciously at the moment. That's why I'm using it. But like thinking long term with everything, with work, with gym, with everything. And I think
your education.
There you go, like thinking long term with things. And I think doing a shred and stuff like that is fantastic, but it's, again, we're choosing people in the right mind space for a start. That's the number one thing. So we're choosing someone who understands, has been here a little bit, is understands and is going to approach it in the right way. It's not someone who's just doing it for that fast change. I feel like that's the number one thing, recognising the individual who's going on it. Because if it's someone who we know, can you swear?
Yeah, of course you can.
Who takes the piss a little bit and just like isn't as consistent as we want, like in my opinion, I wouldn't put them on that. I would build them up, and then look to put them on it. Yeah. So I think that's the number one thing. And then the number two thing is just being educated on how to exit a shred. So like understanding, build your calories up. Yeah, have a few times where you're going to have some off-plan meals and stuff like that. Introduce that in, but understand if you're going to eat 3,000 calories on a Saturday, maybe don't be a fat cunt during the week. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like just these little things that we can do that are sustainable. But again, it's person dependent. Someone might want to go like really serious with it, like bodybuilding style, and then I would be probably more critical on them. But if someone's an everyday person, I wouldn't be as critical. I'd probably be a bit nicer with it, but introducing things that are sustainable strategies, like the food thing that we talked about, the 7 days. So yeah, yourself, have you got any intake on it? Or?
I've got loads. You know, I stress out.
Just a couple of points on it though.
A couple of points on it.
It's like that requirement. Do you agree with that? Having a requirement?
Yeah, 100% requirement. But it's hard because from a new client point of view. So let's say, do you know what it is? I have let one person. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. Like she'd been a member before, but she hadn't done anything, and she was getting, no, I want to do the shred. I want to do this in January. Like I'll join the Barbell Club if I can do this, because she used to do our other program. And it was like, okay, this is the requirements. This is what you're going to have to do. Sort of using it as a body recomp, because you're not going to put any muscle mass on there. Yeah, your strength will go up a little bit because you haven't lifted weight. Failed in 2 weeks, and actually left after our first month.
So that kind of proves that point, doesn't it? I think that's more when you have a home, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was like, but I hammered at home before she started, but she was adamant, probably because she's seen the results and thinking that you could get those results in that time.
It's almost like too much too soon for some people, like an overstimulation of everything, of all the information. So like even with my own coaching, if I was to give someone an online thing, if they're a beginner, I don't give them everything at once, because they'll look at everything and they'll probably just get stressed. To be honest, there's too much stuff to think about. For them first, like especially if it's someone who's not experienced. If it's someone experienced, you can be more critical with them. But I would introduce like things slowly. I drip feed it in, stuff like, I don't know, keep it simple, get your steps in. If you go to the gym this week, mint. If you don't, well, it is what it is. Start with that, so like really baseline stuff, and then implement. Obviously, all the things are in place for them if they want to go full on straight away. Yeah. But again, like sustainability with the everyday people is, in my opinion, like the thing that you need to aim for. Like, right. But yeah, so like someone who's like, oh yeah, I want to do this and this with the shred, and I haven't trained in a while, it's like, it's probably not going to work, is it?
Well, they're not going to get the results what they want. Yeah. And the results what they, and then it's a disappointment in them. But it's like, I'll tell people. Yeah. I'll always say to people, well, if you want to do it, like especially for the people, not the body recomp people, because we introduced that not so long ago. But say the shred people, it's like, right, you've got to be around 30 pounds away from true leanness. That's always sort of the requirements. But when some people think they've got, when I say 30 pounds, they think they've only got 20 pounds, but in reality they've got 40 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the mind expectation of all the rest of it. But I'm not here to whinge about that.
Exactly.
Because it's a thing.
Yeah, but if someone is watching this and they're in a position where they're like, I don't know where I would start, I don't know where I would begin. It is person dependent, and like, of course, speaking to an expert is going to be your best bet because they're going to be able to understand. So if you've trained for a bit, I would approach you differently. You would approach them differently.
Yeah.
So if someone was just brand new, I would approach them differently. And it's like, if a coach doesn't do that, they're not a good coach, in my opinion. But obviously.
So I'll tell you what do you think of, so our in-house, obviously you take our carnage program as well as the barbell. What do you think of the approach that we take? Because it is a lot of information for our clients to take on when they first start, so it's like tracking the food.
Right.
With carnage, we say train minimum 3 times per week.
Yeah.
And 10,000 steps. Like, those are the 3 RT Fitness main habits, yeah? That's what we try and ingrain in people all the time. What do you think of that then for a new starter?
Yeah, so what I love the 3 days. So the reason that I love the 3 days is it relates back to the point we discussed about if you get in the gym, mint. If you don't, then it's all right. People are paying for this, so they're obviously going to come. So that's like a predecessor. But like saying 3 days gives them a bit of autonomy. And autonomy being choice to say, I can go in on this day, this day, and this day. Right. That, science-based, suggests that it increases your intrinsic motivation, which, not to get too technical, is basically your internal motivation. Extrinsic being like you shouting at me, intrinsic being I want to do it for me. So that's like a core component, which I think is great. Nice. I think the program in itself, so there's 3 things that increase your intrinsic motivation. 1 being autonomy, 1 being competence, 1 being relatedness. So competence, are they competent at certain exercises? Maybe not. Are they going to be the ones that they are good at? Every single coach in here will praise them for. Of course they will, because they're good at it. That's what you need to get early on. Relatedness, you've got a community. In this gym, not just saying it because I work here, not just saying it because I love this place, but you get them 3, which is why people stay on for long. This is why people are successful. This is why we've been doing well in stuff like December. Because
by the way, Matty always tells the truth. Okay, so he wouldn't bullshit.
But them 3 things are so key for intrinsic motivation. It's like extrinsic motivation. Again, I don't want to get too technical, but someone shouting at you is going to be good for maybe short term. But over the long term, it's what really is in here, and that's them 3 things that we bring. So I think I love it. That's my science-based answer for
you. So, but like on regards to like, because you said if you were like a beginner, you would just say like, if you get in the gym that week, get in the gym that week. And I find that it is a bit of an overload for when somebody's starting. So say a Doris, 48-year-old starts on carnage, and we're saying, right, get the 3 sessions. Tracking the food is probably the hardest.
100%.
Because it's not that we're just making them track the food using our app.
Yes.
It's also, right, up your protein. And Doris is like, what the fuck's protein?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors to be put, and then it's like, I work at my desk all day. Like, I'm not hitting me 10,000. So I think it is a lot to take in, but I never want to not show them how it's
Yes, so it's the happy medium, isn't it? Which is the difficulty of like being a coach. I'm not complaining or anything, but like, so I think what I view it as is them first 2 to 3 weeks is just no. If you get results, amazing. If you're just starting to get the habits, that's an ideal world. So that's how I would view it. Of course, they're paying money, so they want them results. But mate, like the first 3 to 4 weeks is going to be you understanding things, understanding what a protein is.
Well, it is.
So it's them things. Understanding how you can fit things into your life, because the issue with like programs and stuff like that online is like, it might not fit into your life if you work in a desk. It might not fit into your life if you're a bodybuilder. It might not fit into your life if you're a powerlifter. Everything's so specific, and again, that's why coaching is so difficult. And people who deal in absolutes on social media do well because people like relate to it, but like absolutes don't really work. A program that I'll give you would be different to Sarah. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's what I would view it as. Them first few weeks, view it as like, master the main habits, master the like things that are there. Everything's there for you, but no pressure to do anything.
So what would you say out of, I'm always just checking the time because I'm sure it cuts off after 29 minutes.
What's it on?
Haven't a clue. but this will never get cut out.
Wait,
I can't even say. I think it'll just come off and then we can just click it on. So out of our 3 main habits, right, I always say like, so this is for our RT clients, we're not even talking about the barbells here. So out of the RT main habits, obviously train minimum 3 times a week, track your food 10,000 steps. It's like the 3 T's, isn't it?
Yep.
I always think that train the minimum 3 times per week is the main one to get, because when people train, food falls into place. Steps go up a little bit naturally because they're training, and they live a bit of a healthier lifestyle. When people don't train, the diet goes out the window, the steps goes out the window. It's like basically when you're going on holiday, and then it's harder for them to get back in. So I always find if we can get that main one in place first, train a minimum 3 times a week, get your routine in play, then more stuff falls into place. Out of those 3, I hope I haven't just swayed you here, but what do you think the main one to look at?
Yeah, so I think
first,
in this setting, I would say that atomic habits. It's the trigger. So the trigger is training.
Yeah.
If you train, the other 2 come. If
Yeah.
you don't, the other 2 generally don't. So yeah. That's it, train.
That's it. Fucking my long-winded.
But like, I would say that for this setting, if it was someone who was remote, so with your online, with our online, I would say if they're brand new, if they haven't been in the gym in a while, I would probably say, because there's no one there to like bring them through the process, when they enter the door, I'm going to make sure they do everything. So like I'm there for them. Whereas if it's online, it's more remote. I would say it's not as important. So that's what I would say. So I would say what would be more important is I would go steps first, and I would play around with the nutrition for the first 2 weeks, get used to it. No pressure. Get used to it. Start to understand how to track. Start to understand some things that you'll be eating. And
so you're talking about from an online perspective.
So I would say it's different from online to in person.
But you're thinking of an online brand new person there, aren't you? Like,
yeah. So if it wasn't a brand new person, I'll probably just get them in straight away. And I would say the training is the most important.
Yeah.
Just make sure you do that, and then the nutrition is always something that is going to be an adjustment, in my opinion. Because
the typical online person generally knows what
of course.
to do, don't they? I think that's the difference. But yeah, I think that train, like for in-house, if you ever join in group programs or anything like that, if you are brand new, this isn't definitely not a selling point. If you are brand new, because there's loads of places out there, join a group program.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're not the amount of money what people waste on, even if it's a cheap gym membership.
Definitely. And to be honest, I see a lot of people preaching for the argument, don't go online if you're brand new.
Yeah.
I personally disagree. The reason why is because if you've got someone who's an expert that can bring you through that, and if you've got stuff like form clips, for example, I know people aren't as comfortable to record themselves, but it's something you can discuss over time. And you can basically personal train them one-to-one for a cheaper price. So that's why I would say it would be a good alternative, because someone who's getting a PT, if they get like 3 times a week, maybe that would be more expensive. Exactly. So rather than someone being 24/7 on WhatsApp or whatever your contact is, and getting weekly check-ins and stuff like that. So that's what I would say. But it's a tricky one. There's so many variables, isn't there? So
there is indeed.
But that's our take on it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, I suppose. Yeah. Mad, really. I've never actually thought about getting somebody, say, brand new online, like brand new. Like, I don't. Be a big process.
It'll be a challenge, 100% be a challenge, but there's no bullshit. It's like they don't know anything that they don't know. I know that might not make sense, but do you know what I mean? So like you're totally building them from the foundation of like, this is what we're doing. And by the way, like the programming will be specific to someone who is brand new, so I would not be putting them on compound lifts straight away. That might seem controversial. The reason why is because I'll stick them on machines first. I'll stick them on things that are more practical, that are easier to fail in.
Well, there's a picture on the machine of how to use it.
Exactly, like and again, it relates back to that thinking in 5 years' time. If you're doing that for the first few years, even like that's you building the foundations. You probably build a lot of muscle anyway. Like I'd argue, machines are sometimes better for muscle, if not for most people. But obviously, adding in them compounds,
especially for aesthetics.
Exactly, from an aesthetics point of view. But obviously, over that everyday person, it would be something that you build into over time with the compound lifts. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to program them on a back squat, are you?
Exactly, I wouldn't put them on a deadlift if they've never, or a back squat even.
I think it'd be hard if they were especially brand new and you program deadlifts in, that would be a bit of a recipe, wouldn't it?
I've seen coaches do it, Ross. I've seen coaches do it, which is it's a shame in our industry now. There's a lot of people who, again, deal in absolutes and just don't really know what they're doing. And I think our industry does highlight that more than others. Maybe it's because we're in it, but like there's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I think I've told you about this group I'm part of. Which I am, and it's scary.
Yes.
It's
that opens your eyes to it, doesn't it? It opens your eyes.
And I love telling you all about it.
Yeah, of course.
Because
gives you perspective, isn't it?
Gives you perspective, and it shows you actually how good
you're doing.
Yous are doing, especially how yous are doing.
It's good for perspective, and I love gaining perspective on things and like looking and saying, you know, what not to compare yourself, because as the phrase goes, comparison FIFA joy, but understanding like where you stand in your own industry. It doesn't, even if you're, I don't know, work some sort of other job away from this, recognizing where you are, don't like say, oh, he's doing well, but he doesn't know what he's doing. So like, don't let it annoy you, because over time it'll come out. It'll all come out. If you're doing the right things, if you're doing the 10 years, as we say, and you're doing the right things, it will all come out in the end, in my opinion. So,
well, I'm part of a different group, obviously with a marketing agency, who have some gyms making millions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like absolute millions. We're nowhere near that, by the way. But just like those gyms who are doing that well, I don't like look at them and like I'm not a person who actually, have I ever been? I don't think I have. But I'm a person who, when I see people with success, especially online as well and all the rest of it, I look at them as inspiration. Even if I don't like their message or anything like that, and if they're building a thriving business, it's like,
definitely.
I just think to myself, well, fucking, if he can do it, I can do it somehow.
It's honestly weighing up the pros and cons of looking at things negatively. Like looking at anyone negatively, you're getting zero benefit from it. Looking at someone and saying they're doing well, fuck's sake, you get zero benefit. Like looking at it from such a simple point of view. If I look at them and say, yeah, they're doing well, mint, I'm going to make sure I use that as a little bit more motivation for me, maybe.
Pick the brains.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I try to do as much as I can, obviously, you know, but I think you just, things in life that you gain nothing from, just don't do it. Something like speaking negative about yourself, you gain nothing from it, so why are you doing it? And I know that sounds so oversimplified, but just viewing things like that, in my opinion, is just like my way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking negative? I don't gain nothing from it, so don't do it. There you go.
Negativity. It's negativity. It generally shadows positivity.
Yeah, we're in a, you know, I think, what's the word? People who are cynical generally seem to have this like moral, especially with people. So like people who are cynical over things seem like they have this moral high ground over people, like they're better than people.
Right.
But generally the people who are optimists do better in life. So people who are cynical, although they're more like critical of people, and they're like, oh, look at this knobhead, like online making look at these two making a podcast, sitting at home. Over time, the optimists, in my opinion, will, maybe there's one person watching this who, you know, gets a bit of value from it, whereas they who are cynical aren't providing any value, so the optimists win in the end. Nice.
Me and you are very similar in that respect. But we are, because like we watch a lot of the same people, and I know like you'll take stuff like we'll take, probably is a different perspective, but we'll take different little things away. I mean, you are half my age, so
repeat that one.
Yes, you are half my age, but it's I'll tell you what, just a quick one. Did you watch the Mike Thurston one about was it how to build a business just the other day?
Probably.
Was it
with Chris Williamson?
No, it was just by himself and about how he's built like his online.
Oh yeah.
I
think I've watched some of it. I don't think I watched all of it though.
Yeah.
But is that basically understanding how he was creating content and stuff like that?
Yeah. He was saying how you can make a business. Like he says, and obviously he's just telling his story.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, I know Matty's going to watch this, and because he's just basically like, just pick up a camera.
Yeah.
That's it. Just fucking pick up a camera. He says, pick up a camera, keep doing it, turn up every single day, and that's it. And he says, that's what I've done. He says, yes, I've been blessed with good looks. I am genetic. He is though.
Yeah, of course,
and he understands that. And he does have fucking brilliant genetics. He's got a cracking tan as well.
Fucking
But it's though, like, I could look at him and think, that good looking prick.
Yes.
Like, that's why he's fucking made it.
Yes.
And it's not, I watch it, like, it doesn't even, like, his stuff doesn't even, it's not even for me.
Yep.
His stuff is like for 20 to 30 year olds who were trying to live like a laptop lifestyle, the way the life they want it, and look good all the time type thing. And so I shouldn't even take stuff, I shouldn't even be watching them really, because it's not for me. But when I do watch it, it's like, I sorted.
You agree? Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
And he's a male model and all the rest of it. It's not like this face is going to be on the cover of Next, is it?
I think.
But you get it. It's like one of them things.
I think this.
I could hate him,
100%,
but I don't.
And that relates back to our previous point about like things that don't gain you anything in life. Just why are you even having it in your life at all?
Yeah.
I think that hits home as well. You know, picking up the camera and just doing things, especially this year for myself, like just posting. Just like sometimes people won't realise, like being really uncomfortable before I post a video. A lot of the times, but I do it anyway.
Nearly every time.
Exactly, but like, and it also relates back to the post that I made the other day of like doing it no matter how you feel, just so that you get into the habit of like, if you feel good and you do it, mint, it's just a bonus. But if you don't, you just do it anyway.
So would you say in that realm, what's the word? I don't like using the word anxiety, but like for every time, say you're anxious, you're growing.
Possibly, I think.
Because
rather than anxious, I would say uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, because as soon as you realise you're uncomfortable, you are growing, because you either, like, let's say you make 1,000. We make it towards content. Someone might not relate to this, but just using our like example, posting 1,000 pieces of content for 1,000 days. Let's say I gain nothing from it. Let's say I make no money, no one cares, etc. I've still learned more by doing it than if I had 1,000 days of not posting.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Exactly.
Or just whatever it is, whatever your thing is. If it's the gym, just do it. You're going to be better off going once a week than 0. And that might sound like, but I want to optimize and do all this. You're still better off doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why, again, dealing in absolutes causes that kind of shift of mentality of like all or nothing. But yeah, that's my take on it. Hopefully that's a little gem.
Yeah. I think that's good for that one. So I think what obviously some of the things what I want to get out of this podcast as well is little bits of takeaway. Yes, it's still rolling, isn't it?
What we on?
Yeah, we're still rolling. Can you even see? Does it even see anywhere? I'm going to get a nice close-up of you though, Matty.
I don't know, I can't see it. Should we just...
Oh, we're on 30, no, 33 minutes, let's keep going.
33?
Yeah, it's going.
Quarter to.
Yeah. Oh, quarter to, yeah. I tell you what, then we'll hit the nuggets now.
5 minutes.
Yeah, so what I want out of these is like, for obviously when the coaches come on to give something just easy, tangible takeaways of like, for the everyday person.
For that everyday person.
Yeah. I tell you what, think of one of your clients in your head now, who's maybe a month in. We can use this as a good example because this will be on February launch for this one.
Right.
So they're a month in, the honeymoon period's over now. Mm-hmm. They were excited.
So is this to
they've done everything.
Continue doing things?
Continue
is that
it on now. So they've put that 4 weeks of good habits in now. But what I always say is the honeymoon period over and people start to slack.
Mm-hmm. Thinking 5 years.
Right.
If you now just stop, what was the point? Let's use finances for example. You've paid the money. You've done the good 4 weeks. So now you're going to stop. Why would you do that? I just don't agree with it. I just don't think that's something I wouldn't do. I'm quite tight. I wouldn't want to do that. But no, I mean, we provide the 3 main things for motivation in this gym, as we went over before. And I think it's just about doing it. Just doing it, no matter how you feel. And I know that might sound so like wishy-washy, but just not getting in your own head about, I don't feel like it today, so I won't go. Just do it anyway. I guarantee you'll feel better. And even if you don't, that's feedback for you to say, right, I didn't feel good that day, so if I feel like this, I probably won't train. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. That's to continue doing your things.
Think of 5 years.
Yeah, think longer term. That's what I always do. I always think longer term, like especially when I'm in a period of feeling unmotivated. Like that is my 100% thing I grab.
Yeah.
Either that or competition. And I know that's not as a sexy answer, but like I either go, think 5 years where I want to be, right, I'm back into what, like connecting to your purpose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's it. So I grab that. If that doesn't work, I grab competition. What would they think? And that's more of a negative one. You don't really want to use that one as much because it's extrinsic. But this one's more intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But sometimes you need a bit of that ego.
So it's like basically, have you ever heard of the writing like a letter to yourself? I think was that in the Habits, like a year, pretend you're in the year in the future and you had to write a letter back to yourself of how you got super lean or fucking super successful.
Possibly.
So it's something like you write yourself back a letter of like, I'm Ross, I'm fucking 3 stone down from this time last year. These are the steps what I did in it. Like I did 10,000 steps. I hit me 3 sessions a week. I didn't go stupid. I still enjoyed my nights out, but I did it every single day. I did me 10,000 steps every day. So that's the letter you write to yourself, and then you've already wrote out your plan.
I mean, you can go so deep with this one though. Like it can even go to like the meaning of life. Like what is it about? Can't it? Fancy word. I might butcher it. Hedonistic. Google it. See if it's right. Essentially, someone who. Meaning of life is pleasure. Probably don't go all in the gym, maybe go a few times a week, etc., etc. I still think gym would be a benefit to your life, but I don't think most people are like that. I don't think people are chasing, like internally, when they really, really dig down, what is the meaning of your life? Like, is it really to chase pleasure all the time? I don't think so. Is it to legacy, stuff like that? I don't know, that might sound like too much for people, but that's why thinking longer term, thinking purpose, thinking legacy, so to speak. Let's say you're a family person. What are you leaving your kids behind? Like, will they look at you and be like, oh, I love the sesh? Or they're going to look at you and be like, he was a fucking mint dad, like he really went after it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm trying to relate it to different people, but if you're in business, if you're in gym, if you're in anything, you can take that and just say, what is that meaning of life? What is that longer term? Because I feel like it just kicks you up the arse straight away.
Sweet.
Yeah. Hedonistic. I think that's how you say it.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Right.
Good man.